It's fine now. I don't think it's
fine if I look like that.
Okay, yeah. We are going live now. Okay. Okay, we should be live.
Okay, I think we are live. I'm just going to check if we are live at the moment. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Birding Show. If I do say the Birding Live podcast, just forgive me. We'll just see if we are live. Just a sec quickly. Just double checking. Yes, we are live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Birding Show. If you are watching this live, can I ask you, tag someone, share this with someone. Let's get as many people as we can watching this. We're really looking forward to just hanging out with you guys and just, yeah, this is a good thing about this is an opportunity for us just to interact and to get to know you guys and that type of thing. So welcome to the first Birding Live show. So yeah, John, I don't know if you want to say something appropriate just in this moment before you introduce yourself, because we're waiting for guests to come on and that type of people to join us. But yeah, if you want to say something in the meantime.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's quite a nice, momentous occasion, yeah, Adam. I think this is something you and I have been chatting about for a couple of weeks now, and I'm glad we finally brought it to fruition. So, yeah, it's really, really exciting. And just a reminder to everybody joining, and we'll try and remind you as the show goes on. So we're going to try, it's probably going to be about an hour in duration tonight. But more importantly, it is a live and interactive show. So please remember, everybody, send through any questions you might have, anything you might want to ask us. Just drop it in the comments on Facebook, and we will do our best to see how we can answer them. I think Adam as well, he can maybe chat a little bit more about how we're going to go about a very key interactive aspect of the birding show, specifically with regards to bird identifications. So Adam, what must people do now just for us to assist with the bird identifications that they might have?
So there's two things. Firstly, we got 13 people watching. Welcome to the 13. I can't see who they are, so I'll try and have a look on my phone in a moment. But firstly, tag someone. Let someone know you're watching. If you want to share this, it'll be pretty cool. Also, it'll be a big help. I see someone has already shared it. But what they can do, quite simple, in the comments section of this post, if you've got a tricky bird ID you've been trying to figure out and a bird that you've been struggling to identify, my hands move a lot. I've got to watch that because no one sees it on the podcast. But yeah, just drop in the comment section, just put any bird IDs you want, and we're going to do our best to identify. I mean, Zach is like a bird whiz. He is like an expert, a walking field guide. So John, he's promised 100% accuracy. So no pressure, Zach.
Zero pressure, Zach. Only the best.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just waiting a few more people, up 12 people. So yeah. So guys, let's just get started. We don't have a lot of time, so we're just going to get started on the show. But welcome everybody. Welcome to the first Birding Live show in proud partnership with Untamed Birding. And we're excited to just put together this monthly show. Like when I was saying to John, we're having a bit of a joke. This is kind of like the carte blanche of birding. So I think John Kinghorn is like Derek Watts, maybe. I don't know. No, rather because there's only other woman on the other side. So yeah. But John, welcome to the Birding Live podcast. Oh, the Birding Live show. Good to have you with us.
No, thanks, Adam. Yeah, like I said, again, just a massive thanks, and thanks to everybody. I see the numbers are starting to pick up now. Everybody joining in on the live. If you see me on my phone, I'm not being rude. I'm just busy having a look at the live stats, opening up the questions as well to see as and when you guys drop us any questions you might have, and obviously just to see how they're going. But yeah, really, really excited. I think we've got some exciting topics to talk on tonight. And yeah, I mean, Adam, I think we said the whole thing about the show is to try and make it a little bit different. So we're still going to be talking about a couple of current topics, but more importantly, we might actually be talking about some controversial topics as well, perhaps stuff that people just sweep under their birding bed and might not want to talk about. And that's why we are here. We are here to talk about that kind of stuff. And more importantly, ignite the conversation. I think that's what we're aiming to do here, isn't it, right, Adam?
And just like you were saying, John, I think the one thing about what I love about this format as opposed to the podcast, it's an opportunity for people to interact, share your opinions, and be part of the show. This is not John, myself, and Zach. This is everyone is all 17 people at the moment. Perhaps the numbers are going to grow. We're part of the show. And we're so stoked to have you all as a part of the show. So, Zach, welcome to the Birding Show, our first ever guest on the Birding Show. Welcome.
Cheers. Thanks, Adam. It's really great to be here. I'm very excited to delve into some of these topics and to hear your guys' thoughts on some of these things. And yeah, just to share some of my experiences and stuff that's been happening on my side. So yeah, thanks for the invite. It's good to be here.
I think just as a starting point, let's just talk about our birding over the last couple of months or so. And also, if you are watching, just drop us a comment. What over the last, from beginning of December into January, what are some places you've been to? What is the highlight of your birding? What is the best bird you've seen in the last few months? We might make us a bit jealous. I know we'll talk about rarities. I think some of you might have gone to see these rarities. Zach, let's start with you. I know you had a little bit of a different birding. I think people want to go there on holiday, but you apparently said the birding is not that fantastic. So tell us, where were you, and tell us about the birds.
Cool. Yeah, so I was in Mauritius actually for 5 months. It was a really cool experience. I was there for Bible school for months, but I did get to do a lot of good birding. Unfortunately, Mauritius has got a history of a large number of extinctions. So a lot of their birds are extinct, the dodo being the most notable one, but there were some other crazy things. Mauritius blue pigeon, it's got a cousin species, Seychelles blue pigeon. You can search that up and it's a stunning bird, but you get an idea of, what went extinct. A crow parrot, some really cool, weird parrot, but unfortunately it's gone. But there are still some gems left on the island, which is pretty cool. So I got to connect with things like pink pigeon, echo parakeet, then they've got Mauritius grey white eyes, which are all over the island. It's the most common endemic bird. So if you go there, you'll definitely see that one. And then a lot of the other ones, you need to get up into the gorges and into the forest and have a good look for them. Mauritius is currently the rarest bird, the Mauritius olive white eye, I managed to see, which is really cool. Got a quick view of it and came out into the canopy and I saw it. I was at an elevated spot, so got a good view of that. Mauritius bulbul, Mauritius Cruickshank, some other ones. And then I also spent a bit of time out at sea. I wasn't targeting birds, although I'm always targeting birds, but it was a fishing trip. And it was really cool to see the large number of seabirds there, just hundreds of noddies, so lesser and mainly brown noddies, and then a lot of sooty terns and huge amounts of wedge-tailed shearwaters, which I'm still trying to learn, their ID and try and pick out the odd flesh-footed, which I'm sure they're there. I just haven't confirmed one yet. I don't have a camera at this stage, unfortunately. And then I had Barra's petrel.
Anyone wants to sponsor Zach he'll eagerly accept any cameras.
That would be wonderful. But yeah, and then the bird I want to look for out there, but I haven't seen it yet, is mascarene petrel. I know there are records of Mauritius coming across from Reunion. It's an endemic breeder in Reunion. And every now and then something would come past very quickly, and I think it could have been mascarene petrel, but I didn't get my bins onto it quick enough. And then there's tropical shearwater, and then I saw birds that I'm pretty sure are Pomeranian Jaegers, but also very fleeting glimpses. And so yeah, really cool birding. Low species count, but some really quality birds. So yeah, that's my side, birding in Mauritius.
I think Adam, what's really exciting about these Indian Ocean islands, Zach, and like I froth at the prospect of going to the likes of Mauritius and the Seychelles, is that all these isolated islands, especially when you go over to Indonesia and that, they all start getting these island-specific names. So literally in that list of birds you've now listed, it's Mauritius.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. It's flipping amazing. Yeah. I think the real question that I want to know, though, and you need to play open cards here, is did you or did you not return back to South Africa with a dodo plush toy? Because my only memory of Mauritius birding is returning as a non-birder back then with a dodo plush toy. I think it's
sorry, a dodo what?
Plush toy.
What is that?
Like a teddy.
Like a teddy.
John sleeps with it now. John sleeps with bird teddies at night. Just putting it out there, guys.
In my arm, this beard is made for loving.
Yeah. Dodo. Yeah, no, I did get a sticker or a magnet for the fridge. But it's subsequently been dropped and it's in pieces. So I'm gonna have to get another one next time I do go.
Zach, can I just ask you a question? Do you, Zach has like got a thing. Please, if you ever like going somewhere and you need to return back with something, I heard he broke the fridge magnet. You know, I bought this penguin. I mean, I was quite proud of my skills. Down and just before flock, I negotiated. This woman was gonna, I don't know, like charge me like R1 million for a little penguin. About, you know, Cape Town prices. I mean, Johannesburg and Durban, it's like $20. Johannesburg, Cape Town, it's like $1 million for this little thing. Anyway, I negotiated this woman down. Zach, take this back. Keep it safe for me. Guess what? The penguin is like migrated. I don't know where this thing's gone to. So if you guys, just as a disclaimer, if you ever do a birding trip with Zach and you have anything you want to keep, do not give it a Zach because it's probably not going to get back. It's probably why the dodo's gone extinct.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll have to grab you another one next time we're in Cape Town together.
There we go. There's a recurring theme here, Adam.
Yeah.
We'll have to get it the next time.
So this is the show. This is the show where we talk about birds and everyone's dirty secrets come out. So yeah, just saying. John, do you just want to go through some of the Facebook comments? There's some really cool birds. I don't know if you go there. I don't know how to say the first name. If you say it wrong, I'd rather let you say it. So if you butcher it, people get offended with you and not like you because you got like a beard. So people might just feel sorry for you. So yeah, there's a couple of on there on Facebook that people are sharing. Some really cool birds. A bird on there that I want to see.
Yeah, so I see Adele Warren. Hi, Adele. Thank you for watching. Adele, while she was at Karongwe, got stunning brown snake eagle. That's always gorgeous to see. Aaron Bayless, thank you for watching. Got Bathawk. I wonder who showed you that. And then Kenneth Gamble, 2 Montagu's Harriers at Shawu Marsh in Northern Kruger. I know that's a really, really good part of Kruger to get those ringtail harriers, both Montagues and Pallet. This time of year is really, really productive. Rain, large amounts of quillias, and it's generally really pumping with the ringtails. So fantastic stuff. Some really awesome side. These guys are getting out at a lot more than I, and I think you are as well. It's a bit concerning. We're in the wrong profession here.
Yeah, I think you. So guys, just keep on sending through. If you've got any, and don't forget any tricky bird IDs, drop them in here, and just let us see it. What I'll actually do, I'm actually gonna pop my WhatsApp number in here also. Just pop me a WhatsApp, and if you got any tricky bird, just send the message through. And hope you don't get any weird. I don't want to say the country in case someone's watching from there, but like, a dead uncle who's died or someone, they left me R1 million. So I hope that those don't come through. So if you're from that part of the world, I don't have any dead uncles unless it's real money. That's cool. But John, you've done some cool birding. I know you've been doing EIAs and that type of thing. So tell us about the birding that you do.
Yeah, I haven't been seeing cool things like Montagu's Harrier, although I did see the Bathawk. The Bathawk was pretty cool. So yeah, got the Bathawk with Aaron. That was at the start of the year. So towards the end of last year and into the start of this year, we headed to the Lowveld, Manuleti Game Reserve. It's sort of northern border is Kruger, the southern border is the Sabi Sands. It's run by Mpumalanga Parks. It's absolutely incredible. So started off the year list there. Nice, very nice birds, common Lowveld stuff, bushveld birds were added to the lists. Made our way back up through the escarpment, quickly popped in at Agatha Christie. Then Yazanine got the Bathawk pair. They were very, very easy. They were sitting nice and low this time around when we were there. And then headed back up the escarpment. We were going to stop in at Mkhuba's Kloof, but then unfortunately time was not on our side. So we'll have to do that later this year. And then once I got back to the hustle and bustle of city life, started with work. So yeah, lots of faunal assessments for wind and solar farms at the moment. So basically our job is to make sure that we record as much proper, decent data as possible so that birds can have a voice, essentially. So really, really cool. Gets a little bit repetitive with quite a lot of the grassland specials, mostly being the birds that we see, but still some pretty amazing things. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to be out there on a daily basis. I see here now, I'm actually just going to stop going on about my birding because it's very average compared to Gabby, who got 61 laughers in December alone. Thanks, Adam, and the KZN. Thanks, Adam, for the KZN ones. Adam, you obviously spent some time.
Let me try this here, see if I can get this right. I don't know if it's going to work. No, that wasn't the right one. There's actually an applause. Did that come through?
I heard something. It sounded like I was in a Japanese arcade.
Okay, here comes applause for Gabby. Did you hear the applause?
No.
Okay. This is the joys of live. I thought it'd be cool, but it didn't work.
I just hear grasshoppers.
Oh, grasshoppers. Okay. Okay, Carol, I'll try to give you an applause, Gabby. Sorry, it didn't work.
All right, Gabby, nicely done. 61 laughers and an applause from Adam. But yeah, no, so my birdie's been all right. But yeah, Adam, I think you've been out and about as well, getting some cracking photographs. I've seen you've been spending some amazing time around your local patches as well.
Yeah, I think we actually need to get Richard Flack on one of these episodes. I know we got another one planned for next month, but Richard Flack went up to Makuzi with Tristan Nordia. That's right, I think of his name now. How bad is that? I hope he's not watching. Went up to Makuzi over December, and yeah, got one of the birds I was looking all over Kruger for. Got a grey-headed kingfisher, which is such like it's my last kingfisher I needed for the region. I mean, I've tried all over. There's one by Mtanzini last year, the year before, and I went for it, and everyone saw it, but never got to see it. So that was cool. And yeah, also got an olive tree warbler. So that was also very cool. I was very happy with the photos I got of it. Like really, I mean, quite far away. So a nice time of birding. We were there for like a day and a half. And I can't remember, about 150, 160 odd species. It was really a fantastic time away. And yeah, that's probably the best of the birding. And then also went up to Penwarm Farm up in the Drakensberg. Fantastic birding destination. Got wattle crane, which they're all throughout there, and then also managed to get a yellow-breasted pipit. I had to get that right, yellow-breasted pipit, which is such a fantastic bird. So, yeah, Penwarm Farm is a fantastic place to go do some birding. If you're up in the Berg, highly recommend it. So, yeah.
Nice. That sounds like quality. Sounds like absolute quality. Adam, I'm sorry, I just see now in one of the comments, perhaps. Although not a photographic identification, Barry Ghost has just asked us that he recently attended a Swifts, Martins and Swallows course. He saw that Horace Swift is marked as a summer visitor throughout the year. Why is it not classified as a resident? So, Barry, I can quickly answer you on that one. So, Horace Swift is, for most parts of our Southern African sub-region, an intra-African migrant, the breeding intra-African migrants. And a portion of the population, especially into Mozambique, central Mozambique, and up into Zimbabwe, the birds are residents, in which event they will obviously breed as and when throughout the course of the year. But there is a portion of the population which is migratory and make their way into South Africa specifically. And then obviously when they do, generally between the months of October and March, they will then breed as well. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm by no means, I don't think any of us are by no means experts, but we're happy to provide our opinions. So let us know if you disagree with that, but that is my understanding about Horace Swift.
Try to show a picture quickly just while we are there. See if I can get this picture up. I'm going to try and hope this doesn't flop on me. So there's a new vulture hide they've just done at just near Penwarm Farm there. But Falkins actually just sent me a picture of the vultures from there. So let me just do a quick screen share here and show you guys.
While you're busy getting that, Adam, those vulture hides are absolutely incredible. If anybody's listening and they haven't been to a vulture hide, you guys really need to try and get to one. One of the famous ones is up there on the Eastern Drakensberg Giants Castle. There's a picture up there. That's amazing.
That's from the new hide just near up near Penwarm Farm side, near Bart's Farm. So fantastic. I know it's opening quite soon, and yeah, encourage people to support it. I don't know when it's opening. We'll probably let people know on the Birding Life, but yeah, some really cool photos from there. So yeah, just carry on. Sorry, John.
No worries at all. No, yeah. So that's if you haven't been to a vulture hide, guys, you need to make a plan to go. It's incredible. The photographic opportunities for those of you who are photographers and even want to get into photography. I think those vulture hides are remarkable. The interactions that you get, not only with the vultures themselves, obviously predominantly Cape vultures, but the vultures with jackals, with jackal buzzards. It's amazing. The ravens, white-necked ravens as well. Some of the best bird photography I've ever seen has come from results and time spent in a vulture hide. So yeah, and that's exciting news. Really, we need to.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, I see that Kevin Ross also got yellow-breasted pipit in Wackerstrom. What amazing. Ian Sinclair making an intelligent comment. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it. Good to have you, and thank you for your support. So, John, want to go through a couple of the rare birds that have been seen in the region? Some really cracker species. I mean, there's some really cool stuff. Some stuff I really want to see. So, just go through some of the rarities, and you guys can just comment on that as we go through it.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a bit painful.
Yeah.
This is very painful. So no, I'm going to make you all salivate this evening, hopefully with the recap of rarities from roughly December last year. So yeah, obviously there's been a whole host in between. We're going to focus on mostly the national mega stuff of national importance. So yeah, don't get offended if your provincial stuff's not mentioned. But I think we'll kick things off with the subregion's fourth pied wheat ear that turned up near the S40 in central Kruger around Satara. So yeah, that was a huge bird. It was located one afternoon, and then I know that birders the following morning then tried to twitch it and then couldn't find it. So he moved off, unfortunately. And in contradiction to that, I think, is the Australian gannets that are hanging around Bird Island in Lambert's Bay. First reported on roughly 23 December. Forgive me if that is incorrect, but roughly 23 December. And initially 4 birds. But since then, I think birders have been having almost daily success with these Australian gannets. So that's really nice. Obviously, separating Australian gannets from Cape gannets can be a tricky feat, especially when you're searching for a figurative needle in a haystack. Very, very similar birds. Essentially, you're trying to listen for a higher pitched call, which in the field, if you've ever been to a Cape gannet colony and listened to the hundreds of gannets calling and screeching at any one time, is probably impossible. I think if you're walking amidst them and happen to shuffle one out of your way from under your feet, you might notice its call being slightly higher pitched. But you're actually looking for a pale eye, a small goulash stripe, so that's that stripe that goes down from the base of the bill all the way down the throat, which in the event of Australasian gannets only goes down the throat and not all the way down the neck, which is the case of Cape gannet. And in flight, it has white outer tail feathers. So that's how we're going to have a look for Australian gannets. So they've been putting on a show at Lambert's Bay. If you haven't seen them, both of them, they're still there. So I think I should take my own advice. There's a nice picture that's just been put up there now.
Oh, that's Trevor Hardiker's picture. So I shot Trevor, fantastic picture. Always fantastic photographer.
Nice, Trevor. Then brown booby, also Lambert's Bay. Lambert's Bay was pumping. So yeah, obviously a species that prefers more tropical oceanic waters. So needless to say, a bit of a surprise when one turned up on the 19th of Jan at that same Bird Island Lambert's Bay colony. And then also keeping with the booby theme, red-footed booby seen yesterday on Malchus Island, also in and around Cape Town. And then Trevor actually relocated it on one of his pelagic trips today. So it came and put on a proper show around his boat, and also another proper bird. Adam, then there's the elegant tern that was reported in Amazontote last year. I don't know if you know more about that. I must admit, I'm not all that in the loop with the KZN stuff, especially not that record.
So there was actually a photo that was circulated. Jack, I don't know if you saw. Did you see the photo?
Yeah, I did. I got very excited. I thought it was a current photo, but
so here's the thing. Okay, so bless the guy's heart. He wasn't trying to be like difficult to like a birder. Okay, maybe not bless his heart. Let me just say that if he's watching, this is the same oak you saw the Christmas Island frigate bird. Same guy. Okay, he sees that species. 2 people see it. They're not local birders. I mean, I don't know if they deserve to see it. Just saying, firstly, Zach was like, when we got back, like, you better spend time on that beach, like demanding that I spend hours on the beach. Like, but anyway, sends this picture through, and yeah, a picture of an elegant tern. But unfortunately, it was like a year later. So it was like Yeah, I
Very
was,
painful.
but I sent it to Tyre and he got all excited. Then I was like, no, dude, this was seen like last year. So the joys of social media. I don't know if you guys have had any of those kinds of ones where a birders get your heart starts beating really fast, and then like, dude, it's like a year later. I'm sure we've all had those ones.
I saw one the other day. I'm actually trying to find the screenshot that I took. Now it was some it was on the Birdwatch Zambia forum, and the message reads, "I was told people would be interested to see this. I quickly snapped this photograph through my kitchen window a couple of weeks ago in Mkushi."
And I just I noticed there's no names mentioned, so we don't want any hatred, any hate mail going out.
Not at all. Not
Yeah.
at all. So the picture is that of an African pitter taken with he or she's cell phone out of the kitchen window. All I see out of my kitchen window on a daily basis is house sparrows and the common miners having a go at each other. So I saw that, and I must admit my breakfast made a reappearance.
Just what is interesting, though, I mean, I know Ian's watching, laughing at us, and enjoying the comedy show. But back in the I can't remember. I think it was probably the 80s. I might be wrong when it was. He was part of what I think was called the Durban Bird Club then. And I don't know if Zach, you know that record. There was a pitter record in Durban.
Yeah, there was.
But I mean, some of the birds that were seen like are insane. It'd actually be quite cool to pull some of those records out. I know a lot of Ian saw some really amazing birds back then. I mean, and there was proof. It wasn't just like, yeah, he saw them. They could prove that he'd seen them. So it was really some fantastic birds seen. And I know an African pitter was seen in Durban. I don't know if they said, wasn't there some news there was there was a suspected stowaway? I don't know the whole story.
I think at some stage there was actually one seen in Richards Bay in the harbour, right near the ships. And then there was also this record down near the harbour in Durban, but I think it was actually on the golf course, and the guys were playing golf and they saw it. Apparently there were termites coming out, or the flying ants, and this pitter was trying some of those. And a few people managed to go and see it, and then it was gone. But that was many, many years ago, way before my time. So I only dream of that one day reoccurring.
Well, you know, if you are still on, maybe just drop us a message. Just drop the message. Tell us a little bit about that sighting. It'd be pretty cool to hear more about that. I mean, it'd be a really cool species. Another bird that, interesting enough, has been turning up in KZN quite a bit is the yellow-billed oxpecker. And then this is sightings all over. I mean, there was Manyoni. They were up at Manyoni. I see that at eastern or western shores at the moment. And there was a record of one just up the road, like literally like 30, 40 kilometers from where I stay. And the range really just seems to be spreading.
Yeah.
I must admit, I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I mean, just today we were out birding, and there was buffalo on some of the game farms and that, in the Watergauteng area. And I'm keeping my eyes peeled. One of these days, there's actually been records of yellow-billed oxpecker. I think one previous record or two previous records, I stand corrected, in Watergauteng before. One of them was in the Buffelsdorp Conservancy as well. So it's mad. One of these days, I think yellow-billed ox. But I mean, they're doing it everywhere, aren't they? I mean, they really are just expanding. I mean, even in Kruger, where there was that whole reintroduction project many years ago, they're just thriving. It's actually a conservation success. To be honest, it's really great.
It's very exciting. You know, today I was thinking about white-headed vulture. And I know since I've started birding, and particularly looking at my KZN listing, a couple of birds have disappeared just before my time, and white-headed vulture is one of them. And it's very sad. You know, now it's almost impossible to get that bird. Every now and then there's one individual that comes down, and at some stage they were breeding in KZN, and it's so sad. But it is very exciting to see that things like the yellow-billed oxpecker are making their way back down into KZN, even though there's still a long way to go. But it's very exciting, and let's hope that with the construction of all these beautiful big reserves in northern KZN and the game, coming back, hopefully we'll see good numbers in the future.
So what we're going to try to do on these different episodes, we're going to try and give you guys some cool locations, some great birding locations. So one of the locations that might be a little bit less known, I think some of the areas around there people know, the forests and that type of thing. But Zach, you've done a lot of birding. I know in 2020 during, and he said load shedding's still on, but during lockdown, you did a lot of birding on your farm around Harding. So I've just asked Zach just to come tell us a little bit about the birding around Harding. I know when in the middle of lockdown, he was just saying, he'd love to just expose this area to more people because, I mean, we went down there, and I know that was where we got I think I got my wood owl lifer there. I remember we were in the forest saying, what is in this forest? And then literally like a couple of minutes, these wood owls came flying. So it was like one of those moments where you just mentioned something, a couple of minutes later, there's the bird. So yeah, over to you, Zach. Tell us about Harding birding and see if you can get Mr. Kinghorn all jealous to do a trip down to Harding. I'm sure you'll put him up on the farm for a couple of nights if he comes down.
Of course. Yeah, the more people down there, the better. So lockdown was a great opportunity. I was so blessed because I was on the farm. And for us, there's lots of district roads and that you're not in contact with any people, but you can just got huge areas that you can just traverse and for me, just to bird. And I found the more time I spent out there and just in the local areas, identifying a cool spot and then trying to spend time there, I'd find cool birds. The mammal note as well. One morning I got up super early, and just because I was out there all the time and trying to be out there, I was walking along this road and I was such a clown because I got out the car and I thought I'm going to quickly just walk down into this patch of forest, or it was a bit of thicket, not quite nice forest, and just have a look and see what's there. And so I'm walking along the road, I'm about 150, 200 meters from the car, and my camera's in the car. And next minute I see this little black and white mammal, and it's running down the little path, like 50 meters into this thicket. So now I panic because I know there's like two options, and I've not seen either of them. And I'd heard rumors about these things being seen here years ago. So I hightailed in there, and the thing just vanished. And I thought, I'm going to walk down the valley, and I'm going to slowly walk up, and hopefully, I will see something cool, and I can find this thing. And I was walking up this riverine, and the next minute there was a striped weasel 2 meters in front of me. And I know that makes like almost everyone that loves mammals or birds in this country so jealous, but it was so cool. And this thing was there, and it was like, it just looked at me and then turned around and it ran away, but it was so slow. And it was right there, and then it climbed the tree. It was one of the most cool experiences. And I often think about that as, why did I see that? It was because I was up early and I was on my own, and I was checking and I was walking through these places and looking for cool things. And when you look, you're going to find, and there's some really other cool birds. So we'll speak about some of the cool ones that I have found. So like on the Rarity side, I've had pectoral sandpiper on the farm, grey-headed kingfisher on the farm, which is really cool, or near the farm. But there's some really cool and very special resident species. This week I was in Harding, and I went to one of the blue swallow sites. And I managed to, I was really trying to see how many individuals there were, and I managed to see that there were definitely 5 individuals. There were 2 adults with their long streamers, and then one like sub-adult with like half-grown streamers, and then 2 younger ones with the short little streamers growing. And it's so special to see those birds. You just realize how rare they are, and I just spent hours watching them. And they've got their little trails that they always fly up the valley and then back down. And you sit on one of their flight paths, and they all come past. And in some stages there's 5 or 6 of them flying around you, and you're trying to work out, is that a barn swallow or white-throated swallow? Trying to see how many there actually are in the area. It's a lot of fun. And on that site as well, there's black-rumped button quail and red-winged franklin and broad-tailed warblers. It's one of the better sites that I've had for seeing red-chested flufftail. There's this beautiful bit of marsh at the bottom of the valley, and the red-chested flufftails, there's so many in there. And then there's striped flufftail as well, and the slightly longer grasses, which is really cool. I've never seen them, but I've heard them doing their territorial call from time to time, and you hear it, and you kind of like 50 meters that way, and you run there, and then there's just nothing. It's quiet. You just realize that bird, there's very little hope. But I'm glad I have seen one before, so I'll just leave them at peace. And then the cool things like rufous breasted sparrowhawks breeding in the area, which is quite a cool bird for KZN. And then you've got the Afro-montane misspelled forests, which are really, really special. And one of the more notable birds being the Cape parrot. And it's been very interesting. I've been chatting with a lot of the farmers and the people, even in the town of Harding, which is about 30 to 40 Ks from, well, like 30 Ks from the forest, the Ngeli forest, the Weza forest. And people have been seeing these parrots even in the town and then up to, quite a lot further away from these forests. And they're coming out to feed on pecan trees, which I think is very cool and interesting. And so it provides a great opportunity when they're in fruit and these birds are right there and you sit under the pecan nuts and the parrots are feeding right above you. And sometimes, you count 30 individuals or even more, which is really, really exciting. One of my really cool lockdown finds was I found a marsh, and my dad had actually been there in the morning, and he said the dogs ran in and they flushed owls. I thought, sheesh, okay, that's exciting. And I'd only ever seen marsh owl in Harding, only once. So I thought, well, they're probably marsh owl. So I went back that evening to try and see, what I could find. And it turned out that there were grass owl, which was very, very cool. And I've actually seen at least, there were on the one visit, I saw at least 5 birds. And I think there were even more, which was really cool. And they were breeding there. And I haven't checked recently, but I'm confident that they're still there and that they'll be breeding. So yeah, a lot of really cool things going on there. On the really coastal side of Harding, there's a site where there's nice woodpecker, which is really cool. And yeah, so Harding's super diverse. But yet again, you just got to spend time in these areas, birding them, getting to know the areas, seeing cool habitat and saying, sure, that habitat looks really good for the species, and then spending time there looking for the thing. And you can often reward yourself with really cool birds. So yeah, that's Harding in a nutshell.
Yeah, I've been birding really fantastic. I got grass owl there as a lifer, and yeah, such a cool place to bird. But why Zach really got some cool birds. Zach's a fantastic birder. But one thing a bit of an ulterior motive behind sharing about Harding. Probably in the next few weeks or so, we've got a birding life. We did an outing up at Ashburton a few last month in December. But we got a walk coming up, or an outing coming up in the Harding area. So it's an opportunity to see birds like blue swallow, Cape parrot, grass owl, a lot of those species Zach's talking about. And the thing which is important to note, these aren't places, most of these places you can't get to yourself. Zach, obviously, being on the farm, has access to a lot of these farms. So we are going to send you a link in the comments section now. If you would like to, if you have not subscribed to our newsletter, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to advertise the walk first. Probably next week, Monday, the date will go out. The newsletter will advertise. People who are subscribers of our newsletter will have first opportunity to sign up for the walk, and only after a couple of days, then we will put it onto social media. So if you would like to do that walk, or not the walk, it's an outing, going to different locations, grass owl, blue swallow, Cape parrot, a whole lot of other things, and a lot of those got a very good chance of seeing. Great photographic opportunities. The day will be guided. If you want to be a part of that, make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. The link is going to go now into the comments section, and you can subscribe to our newsletter every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. The newsletter goes out, and we make sure that there's no rubbish on there. It's all good stuff, and everything you need to know about birding is there. So make sure you subscribe, and then we'll then basically you'll have first bite to be a part of that walk. Limited spaces, so make sure you sign up for that. So another big piece of news is the Swarovski AX Visio. Zach, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll add to that quickly. Yeah, I think with these areas, and I'm sure there's a huge amount of land and habitat that really doesn't get much attention. But the reason that there's we need to speak about these places, we need to raise awareness. Like these blue swallow sites, the Cape parrots, the sites for the grass owl, these are all birds that are in big trouble. Recently that there seems to be, a lot going on with Porter's Lark, and it's not looking good. But it's areas that, unfortunately, we haven't been able to look after, or even there's been attempts, but it's not looking good for that species. And unfortunately, the way things are going, a lot of species that are heading, for that too. And so for these things, it's really cool to get people there, get people to see these birds, to see the sites so that people know them, so that we can look after these sites. Most of them on private land, and unless they're monitored, unless they're regulated, these areas just get built up, or they get used up for farming land. And unfortunately, every time that happens on a blue swallow site, you lose a pair of blue swallows. Of the 52 that are supposedly left in South Africa, it's probably less by now. So yeah, I encourage you guys to find those areas in your area, that to look after, and to just bring awareness. That can go a long way to the farmers, to what they've actually got on their land, and to the general conservation teams. And do your part. So yeah, it'll be really cool.
So yeah, the link is in there for our newsletter. Sign up, and you will have first option to sign up for that outing for the day. Zach will be there. Have a couple of guys. I think Blessing will be there, but it's going to be an awesome day. But we're going to talk about a little bit of a controversial topic now. Doesn't need to be controversial, but it is controversial. The Swarovski AX Visio Binoculars. I hope I'm saying it right. These are the worst, the world's first, the world's first smart binoculars. And these binoculars, we haven't tested them out. I mean, I'm sure, John, we're looking forward to, as Zach said, we're keen to try these out with the South African species. Apparently can identify 9,000 birds and other species. So what's cool about these, just very quickly, firstly, it's a normal pair of binoculars. You can look through the binoculars and you can see birds like you always would. You can also use the binoculars to identify birds. And thirdly, which is the feature I really love, is you're looking through these binoculars, and whatever you're looking at, you can share to a smartphone app, and other people can see what you're looking at. So I mean, I can imagine in terms of people who are guiding and that type of thing, I think it's a fantastic tool. If just drop a comment in the comment section. Keep it nice. What are your thoughts of these Swarovski AX Visio binoculars? The comments that people have had, and I've seen these. Firstly, people saying it's going to take the fun out of birding. So firstly, let me just say on that, who defines what fun is? If you want to just look and identify, awesome. I think you're actually taking the fun out of birding by making those kinds of comments, just saying, but we won't go there too much. And then someone else said it's going to make birders lazy. And the comments I made on this here is, birding's a hobby. I got to work. I bird to have fun. It can't really make you lazy. And what I was just thinking earlier, and I don't want to say this in a way that's offensive, but a lot of the people who are against this technology, this AI technology, are a lot of people that have been birding for longer. Let me just say that people that have been birding for a long time, people that maybe at one time were using a field guide to identify birds, and they almost want people to slog it out. Like, you got to slog it out like we used to slog it out. But for me personally, my opinion is, and I'll let you guys share your opinion. My opinion is simply, if somebody has the money and they want to use them and they enjoy birding, Lakeway, so be it. If it's going to make someone like nature more, so be it. And the reality is, this is everybody's birding journey. I personally, I wouldn't use them. I wouldn't use them just because I enjoy the thing of being able to learn to identify birds and that. But my journey is my journey, not somebody else's journey. And I think people have to have the right to be able to make their own decisions. There's old Yandre's on now. So yeah, what are your, John? Go for it first. I know you are a Swarovski user, so I think you'll be nice. But yeah, what is your honest opinion? What we did say? Can I just say as a disclaimer? What we did say, myself and John are both worried about. These things look freaking ginormous. So I'm a little bit worried about the weight of them. Yeah, so maybe some of the more mature birders that want to use them, they might not be able to use them because they might just be too big. You might need to use a freaking wheelbarrow to move them around in front of you. John, what are your thoughts on the Swarovski AX Visio binoculars? Are they good for birding or not good for birding? Your mic is off.
And we are back. Sorry. I actually had a very interesting discussion today about this exact topic, and a lot of people have asked me, how do I feel about it? How do I think it's going to change birding? How do I think it's going to change the optic scene? A whole lot of these questions. And I, as have you, have noticed all of these comments on social media, perhaps only in light of the South African market. And I must be honest, probably 90% of those comments have surprisingly been negative. So it begs to question whether or not it is going to be a successful product. But I don't think that is the intention here. And yes, I might be a Swarovski user. Yes, I might be a Swarovski supporter. But at the end of the day, I will give my honest, true opinion to people about a specific product. I'm never going to go promote something which I wouldn't use myself, which I don't believe is of high quality, beneficial, etc., etc. Is the AX Visio going to take away from birding? No, I don't think it's going to. Is it going to make birding more accessible to people? Yes, I do. Accessible insofar as knowledge is concerned, not price, but we'll get to that now. Do I think that we as birders need to start accepting that technology is taking over and that is simply the way that mankind is moving? Yes, I do. Because whether we like it or not, this recognition technology is not something new. It really is not. If you are an iPhone user now and you open up your phone, you go into your photo gallery and you go to any one of your recent bird pictures that you may have photographed on your recent trip to Krug or wherever, and you swipe up on that picture, it's going to give you a suggested type of animal. In fact, it goes further. It gives you a suggested species and a suggested genus if it can't get to the species. The technology is there. It's not new. Merlin Bird ID has been around for a good couple of years already. Swarovski trialed this in its digital guide way back when. And I think that this is simply another step on the ladder to Swarovski being another innovative, well, not another, being the leader in innovation when it comes to the optical world. There were lots of concerns in the comments, people saying it's going to take the job away for guides and professional bird guides. I'm a professional bird guide myself. I'm not worried about a pair of binoculars taking my job away. It's not going to happen. Technology still needs to progress to the stage where you're going to have an artificial intelligence-driven robot taking you to Zageldrift or Gomogomo or West Coast National Park, going through the bushes, setting up scopes, finding places, calculating all recent sightings, etc., 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 and actually getting you onto that bird. It's going to take years before. It's not going to happen within our lifetime. It really is not. So I think that it is an extremely, I can talk about this topic for some time, but I'm cognizant of the fact that we've got limited time. But at the end of the day, I think it's innovative, it's daring, and it's exactly what Swarovski wants to do. When Elon Musk came out with all of his weird and wonderful ideas, everybody was like, Elon, what are you doing? What are you doing? Everybody was scared. Everybody was freaking out. Now, slowly but surely, this is becoming a part of our life. And let me just highlight as well, the AX Visio is not only a binocular which you simply aim and point at a bird and it identifies it for you. It has different settings. And where I think it might be applicable to some is specifically content creators, people who are out in the bush on a daily basis, and content creation is becoming a major thing in today's day and age. Content creation for marketing or simply for creating and pushing one's own brand. It is equipped with a 13 megapixel camera, okay, which is basically it's slightly higher than an iPhone 14 Pro's wide angle megapixel capacity. It's got it's a 10 by 32 binocular, so you've still got a 10 by magnification. Everybody who is essentially using their scope or binoculars, aiming it at a bird to take a proof shot so that they can revert to it later or send out news of a rare bird, this is making it so much easier. Gone are the days of digiscoping. You can look at a bird through a binocular, you can take a picture, you can even record, and that syncs immediately to your phone. I see a little penguin on Homo floodplain, okay? And instead of me having to say, guys, sorry, listen, I need to get home and process my pictures from my DSLR first, then I will send you proof of the fact that I've just found a little penguin swimming in a puddle at Homo floodplain, north of Pretoria. Now I can simply point, aim, take a picture, uploads to my phone, off onto the rare bird alerts. It takes out the middle step. It increases the quality. It's not new. We have all been doing this. And I think as with every single new technology, let's be honest, we are all scared of AI. It is intense. It really is intense. It's scary. But that's where we're going with this. It's going to get like that. But I think what I'm trying to say is that the AX Visios don't have to be simply to identify a bird for you. That's what I'm trying to get at. But I mean, I guess we'll talk about it more. Like Adam, like you said, we haven't got our hands onto the binocular. Okay, we might actually look at the binocular. Zach, you might pick it up and feel like you really don't enjoy this piece. You might find that it's perhaps slow. Maybe it's too bulky. Maybe it's whatever. Then we revert. But this is at face value. I think people are unnecessarily freaking out about it. And that's why, Adam, when you said people must just chill, that's why I'm saying it really, this is no foreign concept to us. It really is not. And I think it's innovative. I think before we know it, we're all going to be happy with it. We're all going to be using it. And it's going to be old technology at a stage. And yeah, sure, it's got a Musa price tag on it. But so did mirrorless cameras when they initially came out. And we got used to it. We've all built a bridge and got over it. And now we are all loving it as technology. It's the exact same situation with this.
I guess it's like saying that reverse cams have taken the joy out of driving.
Yeah, but
it's
exactly.
AI. It's AI technology, same thing.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. The Teslas have taken the fun out of driving. You know what? Damn you, Elon and Tesla, for taking the fun out of driving. Just because you're making me a lazy driver, because you're making the car drive for me. It's how it's working.
But I think it goes back to the whole thing about human nature, that people don't like change. It's almost like people just want things to stay the same as it always is. Like 20, 30 years down the line, I mean, obviously, I think the pricing will eventually come down. You're probably going to find some Chinese brand is going to make a cheaper version, I think, along the way somewhere. Pricing will come down, and it might become more acceptable, something that's more acceptable going forward. Things that a few years ago were not acceptable and acceptable now. So, Zach, do you have an opinion on them at all? I don't know if you have anything about them.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, for me, I would love to see them, love to use them for a few days or whatever, and test them out. I mean, the idea of being able to video or take photos of anything that you're looking at that specific time, I think is great. I don't have a camera. We spoke about that. So often I find myself sticking my phone camera into my binoculars, trying to video an African broadbill like the other day or something, and if worst comes to worst and there's a rarity, I can do it. But it adds a lot of conveniences. My thing with this is, a technology like this, it can be really cool. My only thing that I would be concerned about is the development of birders. I know for myself that I learn a lot by going back to the book, by looking through things, by reading through things, trying to work out what things are. And I remember when I was younger, I remember seeing a blackback puffback in the garden. And I just wanted to know what this bird was. And I knew it was a blackback puffback or a southern bobo. And my birding knowledge was so low. And I had to work through it. And eventually I said, okay, it's a blackback puffback. But now for me, if I had these binoculars, I look at it, it tells me exactly what bird it is. I haven't learned much from that experience. And I think it's not to say that now suddenly we mustn't use this technology, but we should be cautious on how we're using it. So I mean, I wouldn't suggest for a young birder who wants to learn and wants to develop in their identification skills, and don't run out and buy these things straight away and rely on those. Make sure that in using these binoculars or in your birding that you're learning things, that you're building your knowledge, because it can be very easy, and we can become very lazy because we just pick them up, we look at the bird, it tells us exactly what it is. And in reality, we're not learning a lot. Some people, all they want to do is look at the bird, know what it is, and that's fine for them. And that's great. I love to investigate. And I mean, I want to start looking at different subspecies at the moment. For me, that just excites me. And to come and look at the different plumages of Western yellow wagtail and work through like the eBird or the birds of the world and look at all the different photos and try and work out the different features and reading up stuff about them. And that's how your birding knowledge grows. If we get to the stage that you look at the bird, it tells you exactly what it is, I've learned nothing. But then again, it's everyone for themselves, what their priorities in birding are. For me, I want to learn. I want to know more. But not everyone's like that. People are different. And so if you want to use AI in your birding, great. Go for it. Just make sure that thing's accurate. It's not telling you that there's a northern meteor instead of something else, get everyone excited. But each to their own with these things. I think
Zach, you mentioned that journey. What's interesting about that, you talk about the IDs thing. I mean, one thing that's changed now compared to before is social media. I mean, we've got WhatsApp groups where people take a picture of something and they have no idea what it is. I mean, maybe, I don't know, in the past, you might have had to figure that out yourself. I mean, let me just say there were probably a lot of really bad IDs because people didn't have binoculars, didn't have cameras with them. But, John, are you talking there? I can't hear you. You muted.
No, don't worry, guys. I just got an Instagram live going, so I'm trying to get people here.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, so people are sending photos through anyway. People are sending photos in, and like if they don't know what a bird is, they're sending a picture, and it's exactly the same thing. All that you're doing now is you're not using a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or a Instagram or whatever. You're using binoculars to get the ID. So that's what you said there, Zach. It's what people want. I mean, I know with you're the type of person. I remember there's another guy, Hugo Voice. He started birding about, I don't know, in about 2016, 2015. And he had this thing, if he got a photo of a bird and he would get home and literally, if he didn't know what it was, he'd get home and page through his bird book. And if he couldn't find it, he'd page through the book again until he came to a place where he could identify that bird. And that's how, and Hugo, if you've met Hugo, Zach is a fantastic birder. Hasn't been birding for as long as other people, but such a good birder because he's taken the time to learn that journey. But not everyone, I mean, I was speaking to Tyron says sometimes he'd like to go and just figure out what the bird is. And again, it's what is somebody, people have different journeys. And I think it's just allowing people to have their own birding journey, allowing people to do it their way. As long as it's not hurting birds, as long as it's not hurting people around you, if it works for you, hoy.
Yeah.
I am going to play devil's advocate. What if learning birds by means of paging through a book and physically having a look at each individual species?
Stop saying your book up, John.
We're going to talk about this book now.
Duncan Butchart owes us like commission. He's selling it for him. Duncan McKenzie. Duncan Butchart.
Yeah. So we seem to have lost Zach, but we'll bring it back now. We'll carry on in any event. I'm going to challenge Adam. The fact that perhaps learning by means of paging through a book is going to be phased out as the norm. As technology develops, yes, people will argue there will always be books, there will be this, but let's be real. How many of the books have app equivalents? How many people and kids nowadays in schools, yes, more first generations, first world countries, etc., are learning solely on or by means of technology, laptops, tablets? They don't use books. I know of schools in South Africa, private schools in South Africa, that do not have hard copy books. So as and when these generations pass through, paging through a book might not be the way that these kids and people learn to relate on what is and what isn't learning. So I agree 100% with Zach when he says he worries that potentially with the development of this technology, it may have an impact on the quality of young birders and birders going forward as and when they mature. But the fact that it would be relative to paging through something and reverting to a physical field guide or physical resource rather than going to technology begs the question. I mean, remember now, when the recognition technology being used, Merlin or binoculars, obviously it uses Merlin, but whatever the technology, a lot of the time it also just brings up suggestions, which forces you to go and make your mind up as well. Yes, it might reach a state where it identifies 110%, but I don't know. It's interesting. I think we're changing.
I must say what I do prefer is and Swarovski is one of our podcast sponsors. So, but I've always said that we'd rather be honest. What I do prefer, to be honest with you, and maybe this is kind of bridging the gap between the two, is, for example, on the Bird Pro app, if you stuck with a bird, it kind of has this thing where it'll ask you a whole lot of questions, like, you know, you have to answer the habitat the bird's in, and it'll ask you a whole lot of questions, and it'll come up with an ID. What I like about that approach, yes, it's helping you, but it's not just spitting out. I know they have a bird ID thing also, but it's not just spitting out an answer. It's almost putting down where you've got to go through the process, look at the like when you're looking at testicular, does it have a plain back? Does it, you know, you're looking at the different features, and I think that might be a better way for people to learn. But like you both are saying, and I agree, I think the way birding is done, I mean, we can fight it as much as we want. I mean, there's that saying that, you know, people are, I don't know, there's a thing about water always goes the easiest way. It's something like that type of thing. I'm rehashing that saying, but the idea is that people are always going to go, whatever is the easiest, there'll be resistance now, but newer birders come and they don't have the attachments to the past. So if this technology becomes more affordable, I think the initial thing is, yeah, Swarovski is the best of the best, but so the price is going to be for a lot of people. But if the technology gets a lot cheaper going forward, this could become the norm, where newer birders come in and they're not interested. They don't have a story. They haven't got an emotional connection to the 1948 Roberts. They don't care about the 1948 Roberts. All that they freshen this, and people want shortcuts. People don't. No one. That's why there's instant coffee. That's why there's McDonald's. There's all this stuff that's instant. It's quick and it's easy. People are looking for convenience, and yes, there's resistance now, but most of the resistance now is from people within the birding fraternity. But once people embrace this technology, who maybe haven't started birding yet, I do think, and that's why WhatsApp groups are there. A lot of the newer birders love the WhatsApp groups because they don't have to go through and page through a bird book. They can just say, help me with the identification of this bird. They get the thing. People want the easiest way. So I do think this technology, like you said, John, this is going to change birding whether we like it or not, and either we're going to resist it. And I love what your approach as a guide. I mean, guides are either going to see this as a threat, or they're going to embrace it and say, how can I use this technology? The one thing that a pair of Swarovski cannot rival, which you guys have, is the people factor. I think good guides, a Swarovski can't beat a good guide. A good guide is not just someone who can point and say, that's that bird. There's a lot of people that can do that. Some really nasty people who comment on our feeds that are quite good at identifying birds. They're not good with people. Let me just say that. But the reality as a guide is someone who can identify birds, but also the people factor is important. When you go birding with someone and you go out and you hire a guide, you're looking for someone that you can connect with, not just connect you with the birds, but you can also connect with them on a personal level. And I think that's what technology, AI technology, has got a long way to go to get that. I think the people factor is the factor that for guides, that's the thing that they can't. I think we either going to fight against it or we're going to embrace it, and we're going to look for ways that we're going to use this year to conserve birds, get people into birding, and make people excited about birds. And I think if we can do that, who cares if people are going the shortcut? Who cares if it's not our journey? So what?
Yeah, no, Adam, 100%. I agree with you. We can talk. We can talk about this for forever. I feel very strongly about it. You feel very strongly about it. Zach, you probably feel strongly about it as well. I think it's a very contentious topic, and I appreciate people's concerns. I think we all appreciate people's concerns, but I guess we just got to see how this all unfolds. I mean, it only got released off the product line just the other day, so I don't even think the first couple of units have actually ended up in people's hands. I think it's just the reps that have received the first couple of units. So let's see, guys. Let's see what it produces, and we'll touch base again once people have actually looked through these things.
Well, we'll hopefully February we'll get a chance, myself and John and maybe Zach have a chance to have a look through them. And to wrap up the show tonight, we just appreciate everyone being on this, for everyone for connecting and everyone who commented, and hope this is going to become a more regular occurrence. But we're just going to talk about some new books that have just been released. One of the ones is one we were speaking about earlier. Is the Roberts Bird Guide for Greater Kruger National Park. Duncan McKenzie, Hugh Chittenden, and Ian White. Really a great resource. I mean, obviously, if you've got the full Roberts, you might find this a bit unnecessary. But I know I'm one of those people like to take a field guide with me. People fight me because I take a bag, put a couple of field guides in there. I like field guides. Often in the field, I'll use my phone, identify it. But sometimes at night, it's quite nice to get back and to pick up a field guide and to go through a couple of the species and that. And I think when you're doing Kruger trips, what makes this nice compared to the other Roberts is it's quite thin, it's quite light. And instead of having to chunk a big, carry around a big chunky field guide, you have one that's quite short. I mean, very much the same kind of pictures, the same kind of feel as the normal Roberts photos. And obviously the distribution maps in here are only related to Kruger. There's a whole lot of really cool stuff in the front. There's your geology and your habitats, and also gives you a lot of tips around birding in Kruger, which is quite nice. And then it's also got a checklist to the back. It's quite a nice, great resource. I think I don't know if it's fully out yet. I know there was but it is available in some shops at the moment. It'll be on an online store quite soon. John, you've also had a quick look at one. How do you find it? I think it's a fantastic resource. Obviously, a bird on the cover that I really, really, really want to see, and I have not seen yet, but we'll go talk about it another day.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think it's great. I haven't looked through it properly just yet, but it's going to be an invaluable addition to everybody's natural history collection back at home. It's fantastic. Obviously, Duncan McKenzie, as you said, has come on board. Duncan, I've known him for many years, and the man is incredible. His knowledge is simply phenomenal. And anybody here listening who's attended one of his birding courses, who's been in the field with him and seen his field expertise, the man is a walking encyclopedia. He's most certainly one of the guys I look up to insofar as the guiding industry and the birding in general is concerned. It's phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, obviously we want to try to wrap things up, but just a cool little feature, which is actually just something which I always forget when I go to Kruger, is a Kruger map. So now at least I know that my bird book is going to have a Kruger map as well. So yeah, guys, when it hits the shelves, go get it. It's flipping awesome. Love it. Adam, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna jump to the next book. I tried to share my screen a minute ago, but it didn't work. But be that as it may, the next book coming up, maybe Adam, if you could find a picture, that'll be amazing. But yeah, it's a home field guide, Birds of Greater Southern Africa, authored by Keith Barnes, Terry Stevenson, and John Fanshawe, and illustrated by John Gale and Brian Small. Birds of Greater Southern Africa, and it's remarkable, guys. This is going to be an incredible edition. It's going to hit our shelves in March. Covers the whole of Southern Africa. So we're talking South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Eswatini, and Lesotho, plus the sub-Antarctic islands within our African sector. So everything Marion, Prince Edwards, stretching all the way from Tristan across to Amsterdam. And then obviously has the whole of Mozambique, not just south of the Zambezi. And then it has Malawi and it has Zambia. So it's going to be a nice picture there. So it's phenomenal. And I spoke to one of the authors, Keith, today. He's probably going to be either on a Birding Life podcast or on us on this exact show. And we're going to be chatting about this book. It's going to be awesome. And I'm so glad that it's going to be available to the South African market, because normally Helm is a series of field guides which are some of the best field guides in the world for birders, available for birders, and we just don't get them in South Africa. But they've managed to find a local publisher, and it's looking really promising. And as far as I know, it's hitting our shelves in March. You can pre-order it on loot.co.za. I've never used Loot, so don't take this as a recommendation by any means. But I am aware that you can get it off of Loot. But it's going to be fantastic. Get your hands onto it. And another amazing addition to our natural history collection here for Southern Africa and our birders, for sure.
I think it's like 299 Rand from Loot, which is like super cheap. I mean, for a field guide, it's insane.
It's 100% a couple of beers and some garage pies, which you can do without on your birding trips, in favor of said resource. It's worth it.
Yeah, but thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Like we said, we'll probably have Keith on the show next month. What we're going to do is, in the lead up to the next show, we send through some difficult bird IDs. We'd love to help you identify that there. If we especially have Keith on the show, we can check out his skills at identifying birds. But thanks everybody for joining us. It's been really cool, Zach. It's been good having you on the show. Hope we can have you back again. And yeah, just to let you know, myself and John will be hosting the show together going forward. If there's ever a month where John is birding in the middle of the Bundu somewhere where he's not able to come, I'll host the show with somebody else. And the same going with John. If I'm not available one month, he will take over the reins. So we're hosting the show together. But yeah, it's been fantastic to just chat to you guys, have you on the show. And thank you for everybody that joined. I know we had quite a consistent number on here. And it's been fantastic to have you guys. And just, yeah, thanks, guys, for your time. It's been awesome. And also for had Cass helping behind the scenes and Chris helping behind the scenes. It's been awesome. And it's been a good, awesome show. So we're giving Cass, let's see if I can get the round of applause for Cass.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the Japanese arcade sound again. Zach, brace yourself.
Can you make a round of applause that time now?
0.
No.
Oh my word, it's terrible. Okay, that's not like I thought I was going to give like just the Zoom little pod track recorder, like a big like shout out, but yeah, sorry.
We'll get there.
Awesome, but guys, don't forget, sign up for our newsletter. If you sign up for our newsletter, you'll have the first option to sign up for the Harding Bird Walk. Just to let you know, there is, for those who are traveling maybe from Gauteng and want to travel down from the Free State or wherever you want to travel, we'll have accommodation options available. There is a really good bed and breakfast in Harding. So if you are looking to come down, you're looking for accommodation, just let us know. We're not going to book that directly ourselves, but we will recommend someone you can stay at who's fantastic, and you're going to have a really good time. It's going to be an awesome day of birding. And yeah, for those that come a little bit earlier, Zach said he's also happy to take people on the Friday afternoon to go take them around a bit. So yeah, be part of that. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks.